Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's September 27th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and another really good trading day. In the end, it's just a trading range. You can see the overnight highs, they held the entire day. The overnight lows, they held as well. We basically traded up, made a high, traded down, tested the low, traded back up, and tested the high. And everything really worked out. I mean, textbook today. Here's your first leg down, uh, and then your second leg started right there. And you can see that's a perfect measured move. Two legs down, and it reverses. And then on your way up, you get one leg, and it's amazing how this works out. Notice that's your first leg, and that's where your second leg started. And you basically, that gives you a perfect leg back up to test the highs. And that's exactly where we went. We actually pushed a couple of ticks higher. But notice how the close, I mean, it's just amazing how closely that stuff works. And within that, you'll probably find there's your first leg up on this entire leg here. And if you look for your second leg, that would give you here. We didn't get that there, but that one's just, we couldn't get through the overnight highs. So again, it's just a range day. And really, you could use your shorter term trend lines in here as well. Notice I've made them darker and lighter just to distinguish between them. Let's back out, talk about the trades, and wrap up today. Again, everything was pretty much textbook. On this one, you've got a bigger channel here, the darker blue. This is what I was really paying attention to when I came in and we had a close outside of it or had a little trim working up, and notice the close outside that line. We tried to go higher, and you just find that trend line again, so you get a nice lower high second entry short, or just a lower high short right off the EMA, right off the trend line. That's a nice little setup. You don't know that it's going to take off like that, but once it does, look for that measured move, and that would have given you an exact low to exit on. I mean, it was a perfect measured move, so it gives you an exact low to exit on, and that would keep you in this trade all the way down, and you would have had runners on this one. So it was, I mean, really, if you caught these first two trades, you had runners on both of them. You could have been done before the regular market even basically got open good. So that's the kind of day you like to have, and it was an excellent day. And then, of course, you got your notice that's a new swing high. It's higher than that one. So that's your failed second entry long. It's a breakout pullback from this little area right through here. And we haven't got to the low side yet. We did have an overshoot here. Of course, it wasn't positive that we had one yet. And I still don't know that we did. Generally, this will work off of another swing, either the highs or lows. So it does match right there, so maybe it's not an overshoot, and we couldn't get down to it here because you met the lows. So that's something else to think about. But I drug it across there originally, and it does tend to fit down here still as well. So it's kind of hard to say if we really had an overshoot there or not. It didn't matter. We just kept going lower. And this would be your first target, plus your measured move is giving you this target as well. So you've got several things pointing to that level. There's another attempt to go higher here, but you've already possibly come off the low here. You're close to the low. It's a small bar, but I don't think you want to risk it here. If anything, I'd be looking for a possible long to set up. And when we hit this low here, that far away from coming off this trend line again, possible, making that double bottom that far away from the EMA and the trend line. If you want to be real aggressive, I like taking that one, but I'll tell you, you're almost always better to wait on a higher low, or a higher high, or lower high, either a higher low if you're trying to go long, or a lower high if you're trying to go short. So I think you're much better to wait on this higher low, because this may not be a range day. It has all the makings of a range day, but this is a pretty strong trend down, but it is a perfect measured move. You hadn't been back to the EMA since right after the open, right around 7 o'clock. So you're going to bounce back soon. But you're being aggressive on this one. This one I like a lot better. It's a nice bullish bar. That gives you a double test of this level here. Test one, test two, a high or low. I like that one. And if you catch this, if you catch either one of these, you get a runner and you catch the low of the day. That's the beauty of catching these lows on a range day. Uh, I doubt that you're going to ride this one out, watch it go all the way to here. I know I'm not. I'm not going to watch it go to here and then let it come back and take 2/3 of it back before I enter again. So you're going to exit somewhere in here. Once you had two legs up here, first leg, pull back, second leg, I'd probably exit up here and look for another entry. But anyway, um, if you could just catch one of these three trades or all three of them, your day's done and you've probably had a super day based on runners. So you did get your failed second entry short here. Look, this is a reversal pattern. Look how it pushes through, pulls back, gives you the failed second entry short. Just go long right there. Then you finally, and plus this is right off the trend line here of the shorter term trend line or channel. And then you finally get a break here, and it actually gapped over that line. It did back up and filled a little gap, but it gapped over that line. It's amazing how often that does that. You get a first entry long. You also get that close outside of this little trend. It pulls back and it bounces off that trend line and confirms it and gives you a second entry long. The only question about this one is it's a little bit close to these highs here, but I still look how bullish that bar is. It's confirms the trend line. We're coming off the lows of what looks like a range. Lots of things going on there, so I like entering there. Then it pulls back here and gives you a failed second entry short, basically. Even though that doesn't tick lower, that's still like a swing lower. So this is like a little lower swing. And then first entry short, second entry short. So, I mean, this one almost could be blue. The only reason I left it green is because you've got a shorter term trend line working up there, but it hadn't been confirmed yet. And it could pull back to this trend line again. So it's a little bit risky. I think you're better off to, you should have been in down here somewhere. And then you would have got another pullback right here. If this would have broke lower and closed inside and then broke higher, I'd probably say go ahead and enter. But that didn't happen, so you don't want to enter there. It's like a little breakout pullback long. It's just another test that confirms that trend line, really. And we get a little overshoot here. There's a failed second entry long here, and you're probably asking, well, why didn't you enter there? It's the first break of this short-term channel working down, but there's also a longer-term one here, and you end up getting a break right there on it. But the reason I didn't want to go short here, even though actually I don't think it would have worked either. You probably would have gotten stopped out, but it's a nice trap. But this is why sometimes this is actually a double trap. They trap people into getting short too soon, and then they have to exit, or they probably get long here, and then they probably got them trapped again. So you had the right idea, but don't get in because there's no break of that trend line up through there. So, and this is a strong trend working up. We do have two measured legs, one leg correction, second leg, but you don't have a break of this main trend line. So you finally get a little close. Actually, let's back up here. I missed this long trade, but you're working down. You get the close outside. You get a new low, and you get a bounce and a nice bullish bar. Go long right there. And this is a great example of why we go for 4 ticks, because if you'd have gone for any more than 4 ticks right here, you'd have got trapped on the wrong side and stopped out. It got just enough. There's 6 ticks from 5 ticks from your entry point with a stop there to the exit point. So that's what it takes to exit a limit order is 5 ticks. And so that's why we go for 4 ticks. It's amazing how many times you will see that it'll get that 4 ticks, and you could have scapped out, but then it might exit or it might reverse on you. So um, I don't like going short here yet, even though really your failed second entry long was here. So this just makes a double top, but it does make a little higher high there. So you can't go short yet, but when it tries to go higher again and fails and turns down, I like going short right there. And you don't want to go long right there because you've already got a double top and you're just kind of going sideways. Look how flat the EMA is getting. If you did go long there, it's not hard to know that you're trapped because it ticks higher and it instantly turns and starts working the other way and goes out the other side. So if you got trapped there, somebody asked me the other day, how do you know when you're trapped? Well, a lot of times you'll see a trade that you'll get in it and, it'll chop around and trade down, but it won't get too close to the low. It might get within a couple ticks and then it'll end up fighting its way back up and going higher. But when you see it tick higher and it looks like a great entry and suddenly it just reverses and goes straight out the other side, you're trapped, so exit. So this was a great short here. Um, Look at it go. And you would have had a runner here again. Um, and then it pulls back. It actually pulls back to the trend line, but you had a close outside here and a new low. You don't know that you're going to get a second entry, but or a second leg, measured leg down, and that is 2 measured legs there. From there to there, then your 2-legged correction, then there. And there is a second entry there, but by the time it sets up, it's going sideways. Um, I mean, you could argue, and you're going low right into basically a double. You could argue for a short there. I'll make it green, but I think you're better off to wait because there's been a lot, it's been a good day, and there's been so many better trades than that. But you could argue for that one. And once it started lower, just get your measured move right here and look for a measured move. And there it is. We didn't quite get a measured move. It's close within a few ticks, but that tells you it's probably in. But notice the channel here, and that's another reason you're right into the lows. You've already had an overshoot, and you're right into the lows of that. So that's another reason to really skip that trade. But once you got those 2 legs down after that break, you're looking for a reversal. And again, look how far away you are from the EMA. You get a overshoot here. This one's a little risky. But again, you might catch that low of the day. And or that would be the low of the morning, I guess, mid-morning. And look at the ride you could take all the way back up. So sometimes it's worth being aggressive. And the only reason I didn't like this one, it actually went lower and turned and went out the other side. But it's right into the EMA. It's right into that trend line. And there's a chance it could turn up and turn back down. You're better off to wait on that failed second entry short. But notice how it pushes on through the EMA after that. It turns lower, then goes up the upside, pushes and pulls back. Nothing can close. And even though it didn't tick lower there, I like this one. It's right off the trend line. It's a third confirmation. It's basically the same thing as a failed second entry short. It doesn't push lower, but it can't because it's a reversal pattern, and the buyers recognize it. The smart traders recognize it, and they're jumping on board here. And look at it go. And again, you probably would have had some runners, and you can ride this all the way up. I was looking for it to. You got another one off that trend line here, and it pulls back, gives you a little lower high. So you might have even considered entering there. But again, I would have liked to have seen it tick lower first. So then, of course, we're working up. We pull back. We get a first entry. We pull back. We get another second entry. This is just almost a repeat pattern of this right here. Pull back first entry. You get the close outside this little trend line. Then it bounces off the bigger pattern here. It's a third touch, just like over here, so it confirms this trend line, and look at it go. Smart traders recognize that, and that is a super move up. And I would be looking for it to come to here. I'd get my measured move off of this and from the main leg, and of course that's giving you a target of this, and the shorter term one's giving you a little higher target, but I'd probably be leery of if it starts acting up around this high, because that's the overnight high. If you swing back over here, you can see that. So if you start seeing anything negative right there, it looks like reversal, this probably would have been a good place to exit right there, and you'd get out within a point or so of the top. Um, but that's a great setup. And then this is almost another repeat pattern. It does the same thing again. It doesn't get back to the EMA, or it does kind of bounce off the EMA. It doesn't get back to the trend line is what I meant to say. So it's a little bit more risky, so I made it green. Um, and then it pulls back one more time. And I'm guessing the reason it came back here is because it hadn't touched that trend line yet, and it left a bunch of traders behind that wanted to get that last little push up, and then look at it go. And where does it turn down? Right at the overnight highs. That's what that horizontal blue dash line is right there, and it reverses from there. It's tempting to enter short right here, and you probably could. It would have been a 4 tick failure. It would have gotten. It would have. It's doubtful you'd have probably got filled, and then it would have stopped you out before it went lower. So um, this late in the day, I would want. Um, I'd want to see a little better reversal pattern than that. But if you let it break lower and you drop the limit order, maybe a tick or so back in, then you would have been fine. But otherwise, with that low right there and that low right there, you just don't have enough room, and you see it bounced right there exactly to the tick. So that's the reason I didn't mark that one. And you really kind of got a trend line coming down through there, and it almost closes outside of it. It does close outside of it. So you're just looking for it to push to a new low, and then it should reverse. And it actually went 2 ticks to a new low. And since that new low is so close, you don't know that you can get out, and so you got to skip that one. Uh, you might have considered going short here because you got a double test of that high and a double triple top right there. So you actually could go short right there if you wanted. Being that late in the day, I'd probably skip it. So, but yeah, it was another great trading day. And if you just sit here and be patient, there was a trade about there's one here at 7, there's one here at 8, there's a couple around 8:30, another one around 9, um, quarter till 9 o'clock, and another couple around 10, 11. You just had to sit here and be patient, and about every 30 to 20, 30 minutes, you had a nice setup. And there were runners on just about all of them, and it just was a really good day. These are the kind of days you'd like to see. Everything followed the price action rules. Just remember, a lot of times on a range day, you get a break and you may not get a new low. You may not even get an attempt at a new low, because when it bounces off the lows and highs, it generally reverses. And just like up here, you got a break, but you never could get a new high. It kept trying, even right up to the close of the day. It kept trying, but it never got a new high, because this is a range day and all the smart traders are selling up here. So, but yeah, really great trading day. Hope you had a good trading day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm going to wrap it up for today. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.